It's 10 o'clock and it's time for the council meeting session. Ms. Mistakowski is here. Mr. Ridley Thomas is here.
That's the year I was born.
How do you rub it in? We have Mr. Holden, Ms.
President, I got
Kowski,
you waiting, Mr.
Ms.
President?
Padilla, Mr. Rudy Thomas, and Mr. Walter. We have 6 members. We need 4 more for quorum.
You have you waiting?
Mr. Pacheco's here. We have 7 members. We have Mr. Burnson at 8 members. We need 2 more. Call the roll.
Burnson, Chickfield, Delantrico, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Pacheco, Padilla, Rudy Thomas, Cornish, West, Walters, Guerrero, 10 members present at quorum, Mr. President.
This is a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles on the 11th day of October, the year 2000. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on Channel 35, and we're also being monitored by council phone. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
All right, Mr. Pacheco moves, Ms. Sikowski seconds. There's no objections, unanimous vote. Next item.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
There's no objections, unanimous vote.
Before beginning the regular agenda, Mr. President, there are several items to continue or refer. On item number 7, Councilmember Walters is requesting that item be referred to the Commerce and Energy, CNED Committee.
There's no objections, unanimous vote.
Item number 16, request to continue that item to October 24th.
There's no objections, unanimous vote.
Item number 17, a request to continue to October 25th.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote.
Number 19, the Housing Department has advised that that matter can be received and filed inasmuch as the corrections have been made.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote.
Item number 33, request to continue to October 25th.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote.
On the regular agenda, item number 1 is an item notice for public hearing, and there's also an ordinance on that file.
Is there anybody in the audience who wants to be heard for on item 1? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion? If not, Ms. Goldberg moves, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
That is approved. Forthwith on that. Next item.
Next item, items noticed for, items for which public hearings have been held, items 2 through 15. Item 15 should also be amended to amend the hearing date to October 31st.
Continue item 12 till what? 1 week continuance. There's no objections, unanimous vote. 15 is changing the amendment date to October 31st.
Yes, Mr. President.
There's no objections, unanimous vote. We have, these are, public hearings have been held, but we have cards on number 6. I'll call that special. Any other special, anybody want to be heard on any other items? Seeing none, the public hearing's closed. Any specials by council members? 9. Any other specials? If not, we have 2 through 5, 8, 10, 11, 13, 14. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
Those are approved. Forthwith on 3. Next. Forthwith on 11 and 14. Next item.
Items for which public hearings have not been held, items 17 through 38.
Anybody want to be heard on any of those items? 17 through 38? Have no cards, seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Any specials?
23.
23, 27, and 35.
37. Should go to committee anyway. on the
37?
phone. Yeah.
Any others? If not, prepare the roll on 18, 21, 20, 21, 22, 24 through 26, 28 through 32, 34, 36, and 38. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
Those are approved.
John, forthwith on 26, please.
Forthwith on 26. Okay, with the,
Wasn't 36 closed session item?
no, 39 is a closed session. We'll leave that on the desk. Next item.
On the continued agenda, item number 40 is submitted without recommendation. It's an item for which public hearing has been held.
That's the one that you...
Mr. Hernandez is not here today. Any discussion on Ms. Goldberg?
Yes, there was a request that there be some continued discussion and negotiations with Metropolitan Apartments project folks, and I want to know if that happened and what was the result of it.
Is there anybody here from the housing? If not, we'll leave this on the,
CRA is the one that handles this, and they were supposed to be here this morning.
I think they're here.
yeah, here's somebody. Did you hear the question? Give your name first, please.
Yes, good morning. Don Spivak from the Community Redevelopment Agency. The question was whether there had been any further negotiations following the last meeting of the committee, and we did have several conversations and several discussions with the developer. They have expressed a great deal of concern about being obligated to a 30-year horizon on the affordable housing units and are willing to go with 5 years beyond the life of the bonds remaining in effect. If the bonds remain in effect for the entire period that is contemplated, which would be through the year 2025, then the affordability limits would remain in effect until 2030. However, if for whatever reason, as a business decision, they feel that the bonds are no longer to their advantage, they are asking for no more than 5 years beyond the point at which they terminate the bonds. They are willing to go with the affordability remaining in effect for 5 years longer than they get the benefits of the refunding bonds.
In other words, there's been no change in their position,
That's correct.
because that's where we were last week.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I still personally cannot support this. It's reluctantly, but nonetheless, it's because I do think that this is the beginning of a long chain of these for which this will be the precedent for everybody that comes after. And I just think that we have to make some effort to make sure that there's affordable housing in Los Angeles, particularly in downtown. It's wonderful that there's now activity again, but this is the time now to make sure that there's both market and affordable housing remaining available to people in this area.
Mrs. Walters?
I met with the CRA yesterday, and they explained this to me. I agree with Ms. Goldberg. It would have been better had it been negotiated a different way, but it wasn't, and this was done when it came to council for our recommendation or for our vote on it. And the time to intervene, I suppose, would have been prior to it coming to council, before it went to the CRA board. And I would ask that any other refundings that are going to be contemplated or going to be undertaking, that you really bear in mind the lessons that we've learned from this one and try to extend that affordability clause much further into the future as a contribution to the city's best interest.
Mr. Pacheco?
As we refinance this, I have some questions. How much money are we putting into the refinancing package? Are we putting any cash out?
Directly into the issuance of the bonds, the developer will be paying all of the transaction costs and will additionally be paying us a $50,000 admin fee for doing the refunding.
And besides the basic package that was done in 1985?
85.
Are we putting more CRA money, cash, into this refinancing?
There is no additional CRA money going into this project.
Are we putting any general fund money into this project?
No.
Are we putting any cash into this project?
No.
Okay. So here we have a project that's not getting any cash, any additional subsidy from the city. It's not 1985, it's now the year 2000. They've done 15 years of commitment to the area and provide affordable housing. And now that they have to refinance because they lost their letter of credit, are we jeopardizing our 15 million if we include this 30-year?
Yes, with the conversations that we have had, and there have been several with the developer, is that if the 30-year time limit is imposed, they would not go forward with the refunding because of the burden that places on them. So that would then jeopardize the roughly $15 million of agency investment that was made in the 1980s.
I would simply recommend that we accept, and I would make the motion again, to accept the counterproposal from Forest City on how to finance this and put the bond requirements that they've suggested into the package, because I believe it gives us an opportunity to recoup the 15 million. If we go the other direction, we have no opportunity to recoup the 15 million. And I'm not that much of a gambler with the CRA funds. I want to do whatever I can to make sure we do the best to recoup those funds to use in other projects. So I'm going to move that we go with the counterproposal by Forest City. It at minimum honors the original commitment of 25 years of affordable housing, which we all support, and hopefully provides at least 5 more years beyond that period, and maybe up to the full 30, depending on how the market plays out. So that's my recommendation, and I would ask for your support.
Mr. Holden?
I I'm getting a little angry again. Here you go, subsidizing the rich over and over again at the expense of the disadvantaged. The policy of the city is to have affordable housing for as long as we can get it, and we should not change. You should not waver from that. You talk about 15 million, that's 15 million of taxpayers' dollars already invested in this project. Is that correct, yes or no?
That's correct.
Well, fine, if you're going to refinance the project, then refinance to the extent where we get our $15 million out. And we can invest that into another project where we can have affordable housing. For that 15 million, we can get a lot of housing for the people who need housing. But no, you're going to reinvest it again, and you won't get your money back when the 5-year run. In 5 years, this guy can say, I'm going to pay off the bond. 2 years, he can pay off the bond. And the housing clause for affordable housing lasts for 5 years beyond that point. You guys are just selling out. Now, I don't know who you're dealing for, but that's what it is, and nothing more, nothing less. You know as well as I do, it's a bad deal. And you can convince some council members very easily of that. But that's the bottom line. The bottom line is, we got 15 million, they're going to refinance, give us our 15 million. And we can take that and reinvest it someplace else. But you're not asking for that. And you should be. I'm a no vote. Ms. Goldberg, you're absolutely correct. It's just another sloppy deal, sloppy workmanship for bureaucrats. And politicians, they're cutting deals for politicians as far as I'm concerned. You're not cutting it for yourself, because if you are, you know what's going to happen to you.
Mr. Burnson?
I think I need to ask a couple questions about this. This is in the South Park area, this apartment complex?
That's correct.
This is when it was in the original CBD plan, is that correct?
Yes.
If we're selling bonds now, how are these bonds going to be paid off? Do we have authority to sell bonds and incur new indebtedness because we're over the limit as far as the 70 million for, the 700 million for the CBD project? So how are we financing these?
The 28.4 million is a housing revenue bond, which is payable solely by the project and the project owner. There are no
So it's, in other words, it's
agency
a
monies.
revenue bond?
It's
in other
a
words?
pure revenue bond. The agency is a conduit issuer. We do not use any agency money to pay the debt service on that bond issue.
I see. And this project is already built, is it?
It was built in the late 80s. It entered
Late
full
80s?
service in 1989.
I see. And so what you're doing is cashing some of the proceeds out of that to use for another project? Is that what you're doing?
Well, what the developer is facing, it's a letter of credit supported transaction, and the letter of credit is expiring, and in order to keep the bonds in place, they need to find a new type of credit enhancement. What they're proposing here is their own corporate guarantee. Because that changes the nature of the deal, we have to issue a refund.
How good
bond.
is their corporate guarantee?
We believe it's adequate for this
You
bond
believe it's
transaction. It's
adequate?
being sold solely to institutional investors
Well,
in
with
$1 million denominations.
But the letter of credit was actually a secured loan.
That's correct.
And this is not. Is
The
that
Industrial Bank of Japan is the letter of credit provider. Their credit has fallen to a level that is still above Forest City Enterprises, but not substantially.
So you feel that this is totally secure?
We believe it's adequate.
Adequate or totally secure?
Well, it's secure to the extent that Forest City makes their obligations. They're a major corporation, $3.5 billion asset corporation on the New York Stock Exchange, and we believe that their credit is adequate for this transaction.
There are a lot of major corporations that are going through Chapter 11s right now, let me tell you. That's the only concern I have. I don't have a problem with this, other than the fact that I want to make sure that we're not going to wind up eating this. What happens if there's a default? Who would be responsible for it?
That risk is going to be disclosed to potential investors, that this is a security that's payable directly by Forest City Enterprises, that in the event that Forest City Enterprise is unable to make the debt service payment, there will be no recourse to the City of Los Angeles or to the
There will be no
redevelop-
recourse to the city or to the CRA?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Goldberg?
Yeah, I think that the only problem that I'm trying to raise, because I think all of this was made clear at committee, is that we are in the unenviable position of not being able to hold on to affordable housing even in projects that were financed because by CRA funds originally. Because the 25 years that you talked about ends when?
2010.
2010. If they were to buy back the bonds in 2002, would it end in 2007 or in 2010?
No, the 2010 is part of the grant deed. That was part of the
All
original
right,
transaction.
so we
and-
get till 2010 in any case.
In any case.
So if they buy back in 2005, that 5-year runs at the same time, and that 2010, there's no more affordable housing here.
That's correct.
Okay. You know, so that means that we have 10 years of affordable housing, and a lot of us think that's not enough, and obviously that's my disappointment and why I'm not going to support this particular situation.
Ms. Stokowski?
Members of the council, in looking at this, it seems to me that we do have a benefit. I mean, clearly, we can say we want further extension on affordability, but they've told us that they're not going for that. So what we have on the table is a bond refinancing, which we did negotiate an additional 5 years of affordability that is somewhat secure or beyond at least getting us past 2010 to some degree. What we risk if we go forward and say, no, we want an additional 30 years and period, is we put at risk our $15 million that we've already put in. And so this is really the best deal for the city because we get their agreement for at least 5 more years when we wanted more, but we also get a better position for returning our $15 million to us at some time in the future as the market changes in this area, and we can put that $15 million into helping provide other affordable housing in this area. So I don't see, as Mr. Pacheco said, by saying no to this, we gamble, and we gamble with our $15 million, and I don't think this is something we ought to be gambling with in terms of public money, when in fact, by not gambling and going forward with the deal, we do gain 5 more years of affordability on something that already was a 25-year commitment, plus the more likely assurance that we will get that $15 million back that we invested. So I think that the recommendation to support this deal, not the best of if we had been able to negotiate it earlier, but something that still is a win-win and benefit for the city is a reasonable approach.
Holden?
That's not true. If they go belly up, we take control of their property. Is that correct? We got 15 million in. Yes or no?
No.
Why don't we? You mean you gave them 15 million without being second in line?
The current structure has a first mortgage that runs to the letter of credit bank. Under the proposed refunding, there would not be a secured interest running to a letter of credit bank. It would just be the corporate guarantee.
So it's just a gift of public funds. I mean, how can you arrange a deal like this in the first place? You're never going to get your money back. Nick, you're saying we're going to get the 15 million back. Never, ever. You already lost it. And that's what the public needs to know. How many police officers we could put on the street for 15 million smackarinamos? How many another affordable housing units we can build for $15 million? You guys are shameful. I'm voting no.
Mr. Pacheco, you're going to move previous question?
I'm sorry, I wish I could, but I have to at least say one thing. I think what has to be very clear here is that I'm not saying what Mr. Holden claims I'm saying, that we're going to get our $15 million. What I'm saying is that if you want to lose it today, then impose the 30-year affordable housing requirement. If you want to at least create the opportunity to recoup that $15 million, I believe Forest City's counterproposal in terms of how to handle the affordable housing component of this project gives us at least an opportunity to recoup it. Now, if you've already decided that it's lost and it's gone, then that's fine. That's, hey, I've only been here a year, you've been here maybe 30, I don't know, but my point is, I want to give the CRA and the project an opportunity to turn around. If you believe it's a dead deal and a dead project, then I can understand why you'll be voting against this and impose the 30-year, because either way, we get the 2010 baseline. Under all circumstances, for the next 10 years, we will get affordable housing. I'm just trying to create the opportunity to extend that beyond the baseline. If people want to just live with the baseline and write off the $15 million today, fine, vote no. I'm asking you to vote yes to give us an opportunity to recoup some of that money.
Mr. Burnson?
No, I already spoke.
Ms. Goldberg?
Just for the record, you do or do not believe we will get the $15 million back?
If the transaction is approved with the 30 years today and they do not proceed, we are very confident we will not get the money back now.
I'm talking about the other way.
As time proceeds, the longer that the bonds remain in place and the value of the property increases in downtown, the likelihood of getting that money back increases, I think, rather
And if you were an
dramatically.
investor and you had to bet on a side, what side would you bet on? We'd get our $15 million back or not?
I would bet we'd get at least a substantial portion of it back.
At least a substantial portion of it. See, I think what we're doing is we're selling out for very little, because I don't think we're going to get this money back. We're second in line, and everything has to go well, and I think that, so to lose the extra time for affordable housing and not be able to get our money back in either case.
Rudy? Mr. Shavarnich? Yeah, well, no one else wants to be heard, so I'll say your motion is passed. Okay, what do we have before us?
You have Mr. Pacheco's motion to accept the counterproposal of Forest City.
Prepare the roll on that. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes, 3 noes.
That is approved. Anything else? Huh?
Not on that item.
Okay. Mrs. Walters, did you have a presentation you wanted to make? Forthwith on 40.
Good morning, Mr. President, members of the City Council. We're here today to celebrate a very special day for, and indeed, a very special person, Dr. Reatha Dora Herndon, who is celebrating today her 100th birthday. Here she is. And she's right here. She was born at the turn of the century, October 11, 1900, in Kingfisher County, Oklahoma. And she has resided in the 9th Council District since 1959. Dr. Herndon is a national evangelist for the Churches of God in Christ, Incorporated, and has ministered to the needs of humanity, providing food, clothing, shelter, and comfort to the sick and dying. At 100 years old, she is still working to meet the needs of the community. And on behalf of the City Council, Dr. Herndon, I'd like to present this resolution to you celebrating your 100th birthday. You want to look at the camera up here? Here. look. Now, don't hide your face. Don't hide your face. Okay. There you go. Enjoy. Oh, okay. Enjoy it. All right. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Mrs. Wallers, thank you very much. Congratulations on that lady. We're 100 years old. Okay, the
These guys don't want to talk anymore, so you can let it go.
next item.
Item number 41 on the continued agenda is an item for which public hearing has not been held.
Item 41. Mr. Pacheco, you made this motion, 41.
No, I called 23 special. I'm not sure what.
Well, this is 41.
This is a motion to establish an El Pueblo Cultural Improvement Trust Fund. It was a Rule 16
Just-
motion continued from yesterday's meeting.
Just say you move and we'll just vote on
I
it.
move approval.
Okay, prepare the roll. Prepare the roll on the motion and the ordinance. Tabulate the vote.
13 eyes.
That is approved. Forthwith on that. Okay, the next item.
Item number 6, there's a card from the public on the item.
We've had a hearing on this already. Mr. Herod, did you want to be heard? And Mr. Graves? Okay, Mr. Holden said these. All right, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion on item number 6? Any discussion? If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
13 eyes.
That is approved. Next item.
Item number 9, called special by Councilmember Ridley Thomas.
Okay, Mr. Ridley Thomas is satisfied on 9. If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
13 eyes.
That is approved. Next item.
Item number 23, called special by Councilmember Pacheco.
Mr. Pacheco, item 23.
I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention that the banner ordinance is an ordinance that we all worked very hard on, but that there are still some improvements on it, and I support Ms. Chick's motion and have introduced a separate motion that will go to the committee dealing with Chamber of Commerce's and community spirit, and wanted to just give everyone a heads up that this is an important amendment here today, and that there further amendments will be coming. I move approval.
Do you want to go to committee? What, Mr. Deaton? Forthwith on item number 6, incidentally.
No, we should vote on this one today. What Mr. Pacheco was indicating that he has another suggestion. It's going to committee. Has gone to committee, actually. Excuse me? No.
I'm requesting to go to planning committee as well.
Banner ordinances historically have not gone to planning committee.
Normally, I mean, it goes to Public Works?
Public Works. The only reason this went to community, as well went to community economic development, because it involved a regional economic development organization.
Or Mr. Burnson?
Yes, members of the council, you know, the road to hell is lined with good intentions, and we had good intentions when we passed the banner ordinance. But I can tell you that it's completely out of control, and it needs to be reviewed, and it needs to be revised to make sure that we don't have a proliferation such as we have in many areas of the city today. So I don't know what committee this was scheduled to go to, but signage definitely comes within the purview of the planning committee. And I would ask that whatever else the committee may be going to, it would also go to the planning committee. We will act on it expediently because I have a great concern, and I was going to bring in something asking for a review of the banner ordinance as well.
Okay. Mrs. Chick?
Done.
No, I was actually fine with having Mr. Pacheco's motion go to one committee. I always think it makes things take quite a bit longer when we have two committees, but I'm respectful of the Plum Committee Chair, and just wanted to clarify that we're talking about Mr. Pacheco's motion, and I'm if that's acceptable to him, then I'm okay with it.
Okay, there's no objections to it going to both committees. Prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 eyes.
That's what's
Yes.
before you today.
Yeah, Mr. Pacheco's motion and the balance is going to committee.
But this is a vote on this ordinance today.
The ordinance
And so
goes
this is
forward.
forthwith.
We don't,
You have an ordinance.
we don't have an ordinance before, do we have an ordinance? No. We don't have
You
the
don't have an
ordinance here. We'll have to bring it in.
This is just a request for our office to,
Oh,
and I think there was maybe some draft language attached, but no ordinance.
Point of order, please. Could the clerk clarify for me what is being sent to Plum Committee? My impression and intention was Mr. Pacheco's amendment is going to Plum, but the agenda item has been adopted. Thank you.
Okay, the next item.
Item number 27, called special by Councilmember Goldberg.
Ms. Goldberg?
Yes, I was informed that there's no one here to answer my questions, so I'd like to ask if we just put this over till Friday so I can get a chance to just ask a few questions on this.
Item 27, continue until Friday. If there's no objections, unanimous vote. Next item.
Item number 13, also called special by Councilmember Goldberg.
Which one?
Item number 35.
Ms. Goldberg, 35.
Yes, I think this is a very good idea. I'm just curious as to where we're going to have them and whether this is going to come back through your committee, Ms. Chick. Is this going to come back through your committee? How many we are anticipating? This is on item 35.
Thank you. No, the intent is very much that it goes to our colleague, Councilmember Walters, Arts, Health, and
Okay,
Humanities
all right.
Committee. And
Fine.
what this really is, well, that's what your question was, so.
No. It was how many do you anticipate and what is this?
There is no anticipated number. In fact, this is the result of a good idea, of my seeing this kind of outreach to visitors and ease of information and access to finding important sites that I think the city of LA needs to do to
Oh, yeah.
make us a friendlier city to visit and to increase tourism, which is important to our
So you don't
economy.
have an anticipated number or location?
I just
yet?
was wanting to further the idea, and the Visitors and Convention Bureau has had some very good ideas and endeavors of its own
Okay.
that kind of come in with this.
I would suggest, because this will obviously happen probably after I'm gone, that before you're done, that there be a lot of input from people, because one of the things that we found is that there are a lot of secret treasures in this city. And many council members know where they are in their own district, but even the Convention Bureau doesn't seem to let people know about them. So I think we maybe ought to have part of the process, have people put together places that they think might be good locations for these and locations that they think ought to be publicized. Thank you.
Okay, did you want to be heard, Mrs. Chair?
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate the feedback from my colleague and very much think that, and we should add, and I forget the exact language here, but make sure, I would like to add to the motion, amend it myself to add that we request the Chief Legislative Analyst's Office to also work with the Convention Bureau and analyze their report and participate in the presentation of that report. I think it's very important to make sure we include all kinds of important sites. And I would suggest, and I hope the CLA is listening as I speak, that we look at perhaps forming a task force that represents the whole city, people connected to museums and to knowing where the sites are, to make sure that we've got all of our important locations available and easy for visitors to see. Thank you.
Okay, prepare the roll on 35, is it? Tabulate the vote.
13 eyes.
That is approved. Next item,
Item number 37, called special by Councilmember Holden.
Mr. Ridley Thomas called it, I think, didn't he?
Mr. President, members of the council, this item essentially pertains to the council's role in helping to foster and to advance police reform in the city of Los Angeles. I think it should be appreciated already that we have begun to witness a slowing down of the process. We had hoped that the negotiations between the Department of Justice and the city's negotiating group would have been concluded. It would have been back before the council. We would have adopted whatever was deemed appropriate and on with the business at hand. Even if that were the case, it would seem to me that it ought to be appreciated that given how tough reform is, generally speaking, but particularly reform in the area of law enforcement, all hands need to be applied to the wheel in a way that would be helpful to the advancement of this issue. The motion itself calls for an ad hoc committee that would be comparable to the ad hoc committee established during budget deliberations, that is to acknowledge the standing committee and expand it based on the number deemed appropriate. And so with that in mind, Mr. President, members of the council, I would think that this is appropriate as we must take an active role in keeping this issue of reform a priority not only for the city but for ourselves. If we do not do so, it is my strong conviction that we will almost immediately begin to experience a kind of slippage that will come to embarrass us, if not haunt us. Thank you.
Ms. Goldberg?
Yes, I rise in support of the, oh, go ahead, I'll yield to my colleague. Go ahead, I'll yield to you. I'll yield to him.
Mr. President, members, reform at this point in time in the city of Los Angeles means change from what you have to what you don't know about. Simple as that. Well, the guy stumped his toe today. Let's reform that. Police went on duty with a nightstick and a pistol. Let's reform that. The policeman did not give somebody his card that he stopped him. Let's reform that. And pretty soon you'll have so much reform that you'll be paying people to wear the uniform and not do the job, because they won't know what to do or how they're going to be second guessed. And that's serious, my friends. Just as serious as gang warfare is on the rise and crime is on the rise. And the task force and the police department is doing a lot of driving by. They're not profiling, they're just driving by. And people's lives are in jeopardy because they're afraid of another reform program. They're afraid of and concerned about being critiqued once again about enforcing the law in the city of Los Angeles to protect the innocent, to protect the citizens, and to imprison the criminal. You bet they're concerned. I mean, how much more are we going to harass these police officers? You got the Justice Department, you got all other kind of civilian groups studying the police department. Let them tell us how they're going to arrest some of these criminals and stop this gang warfare. I mean, highlight that as an issue. And why not? If I sat there in the Protective Police Committee, I did it before and I'd do it again. I talked about response time. I talked about proactive time for the police department and having high visibility in the neighborhood and how to repress crime, not how to repress the police department and put handcuffs on them. You put handcuffs on the criminals. And I don't hear that enough from the members of the council. How are we going to punish the police department? I got to tell you, you just keep on talking that talk and see what happens. Then yet, when you go out to the community You stand there and you say, we're going to have more police officers, we're going to do this for you, you're going to do that. Hogwash. The public should read in the papers. The public should watch you on TV on Channel 35 to see what you're not doing in terms of providing more police protection. All you're doing is harassing the police department. And I think they're tired of it, and they're just sitting there watching crime go by. I'm voting no if you're going to vote on this today. If you want to send it to committee like it belongs, where the police department can come out and discuss it, police commission can have somebody, a spokesman person here to look at it, well, that's fine. You don't have that.
Okay. Ms. Goldberg?
Well, I rise to support the motion. I think that anybody who has been watching the last several days of the newspaper knows that we are not yet over with even disclosures about what's gone on in our department. I don't know about you, but I found the thought that we are now going to be involved in lawsuits brought by officers who claim they were discriminated against for trying to be whistleblowers, another horrifying part of all of what's going on. But what we're basically asking, I believe, in this motion is to say that if there's going to be a consent decree, there ought to be a oversight so that we don't end up in a situation where we have to go back to court and say, well, we were asleep at the switch and the things that we agreed to do, we didn't get done. And I think that the idea that the core of it is the Public Safety Committee simply means that because it is a broader issue than just a committee's issue, that they will be given assistance, much like we do in the ad hoc budget process. And otherwise, I think it's just a good method of making sure that the commitments that the city makes when we finalize a consent decree are kept so that we don't end up in trouble behind that consent decree. So I see it as a not routine, but a relatively routine request, because I think we're going to need to have some kind of tracking of these issues as we go along, and I think it'll be useful.
Thank you, Councilwoman. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Miskowski.
I agree with the statements that have been generally made in support of this motion. Members of the council, we know that we've been through police reform in the past, but for some reason, we, the council, delegated or allowed that to be delegated to the department, to the commission, and an assumption that everything was being done the way it should be. When we went through the consent decree deliberation here, we asked that there be a special internal city agency composed of the CLA, the head of ORS, as well as the police department, to oversee and monitor to make sure that we're in compliance with what we said we would do. What this does is create that same degree of ownership and buy-in on the part of the City Council, that this is not just a routine matter to go to public safety for monitoring, but it really needs more members of the council to have knowledge, to have insight, to have participation. And the only hesitancy I had when Councilmember Ridley Thomas approached me was that I didn't want to see it being redundant, that we would have an ad hoc committee and a public safety committee, which would both have to deal with this, because as Ms. Chick said, sometimes when you send things to multiple committees, it really has a way of delaying ultimate action. So in this being created in the same format as the ad hoc committee on the budget, which has the General Budget and Finance Committee as at its core, plus additional members, this has the Essential Public Safety Committee at its core, plus additional members, and I think it creates that level of importance, that buy-in by the City Council, that this is something that the council as a whole needs to be monitoring, a part of, and creating to that special level. So I support it. The only suggestion I have is that we wait until we have a consent decree and then leave it in the hands of the President what and how the appropriate time is to have this committee up and functioning, because we may have a few steps ahead before we get to this point of implementation. But I think the concept is a good one.
Mrs. Chick?
I had two questions. Mr. Ridley Thomas is marching appropriately back to his microphone because I'm looking to you for possibly some clarification, and maybe the city attorney. First, let me clarify, though, my own position that I rise in support of the motion, very much in support of the motion, and am grateful for it. Having chaired public safety for a while, served on it with you, Mr. Ridley Thomas, and living through all of our current problems and dilemma and seeing how there's so many areas we didn't make the right progress in. All of the talk about accountability and actually what the council is doing and what Mr. Ridley Thomas is doing with this motion in my mind is saying here is the entity that will focus and claim responsibility and accountability for the city council. So I think it's a very good thing. I'm only sorry that there's 6 of us, I think, or 6 council members that don't qualify to be considered by the president for such an ad hoc committee because we won't be here after the end of June. And I think this committee merits having some continuity, if I may be so bold to offer my opinion on that. Questions? In terms of the new charter, which I very much got acquainted with chairing the Charter Implementation Committee, I know that we can request information and reports, but not mandate. So I perhaps want the city attorney to comment on that because this would be an extremely important committee and one that we should have confidence can access the information that it needs. It certainly makes sense. It would behoove the police department, city attorney, and others to come before the committee openly and forthrightly. Mr. Ridley Thomas, in the I therefore, the first one, you have language saying assessing and implementing the recommendations deemed worthy and feasible offered in the variety of reports, and I'm just wondering how or who decides what is who deems what worthy and feasible? Would it be the recommendations that come forward from all of those reports?
Precisely.
Okay, thank you.
Johnson.
Members of the council, as this is written, I am basically in opposition to it, but not to the purpose of what it's being established for. For us to establish another ad hoc committee, I think, would just fly in the face of everything that's happening. We have a public safety committee. I think that they are prepared to handle this. I would suggest, if the council feels that they want to expand the committee a little bit in order to fully evaluate the police reforms, I don't have a problem with that. I think it's within our responsibility. And I would move as a amendment
That's what this does.
I would move as an amendment.
That's what this does.
Well, let me finish,
All
okay?
right.
Mark, I would move that the president of the council appoint 2 additional members to the Public Safety Committee, and that would accomplish the same purpose and give us the ability to deal with the restructuring and reforms of the police department. And I would so move.
Mr. Hernandez.
Members of the council, I kind of rise to talk about the whole process of an ad hoc committee and why I think they function better. And it's because you bring all the committee chairs normally that could request review of an issue. And I'll give you an example. In dealing with the consent decree, a lot of personnel issues are part of that consent decree. There's a lot of technology issues that are part of that consent decree that might not just be public safety, but I've seen how this council has operated in the past when there was issues that were controversial, and every committee chair that had something to do with that area wanted to see it. And so I think the purpose of putting together an ad hoc committee is so that you have those individuals who basically impact that issue working together on an ongoing basis to deal with the process. And I have found it to be a way that the council has been able to accomplish the very difficult tasks that come before us. At the same time, I think that it's been the wisdom of the council president that basically has directed those ad hoc committees by putting the proper chairs on those committees. And I would not want to interfere with that process. And so, again, I'm supportive of the overall concept of the motion, and I think that the council president has the knowledge of which committees would be impacted by this issue and should be allowed to set the ad hoc committee. But I think that when we talk about the complexities of the consent decree, it's clearly something that goes beyond just the public safety committee, and that's why I think that allowing for the appointment of an ad hoc committee would serve that purpose.
Mr. Wax?
I just want to take issue with something that Mr. Holden said, because I don't think it should go unanswered. What I disagree with your comments, Nate, that police reform should not be looked at as anti-police. That police reform should not be seen as something that's mutually exclusive of protecting the public safety in this city. In fact, the only way we're going to have an effective police department is if we have reform, if we have community-based policing, if we have the kind of partnerships between the communities in the police, if there's a trust and there's a respect on both sides. I don't see why you feel that somehow or other reform of wrongdoing in any way is in opposition to public safety. In fact, I think that to have an effective law enforcement, you've got to have a reformed police department. And that's why I think, for example, the Police Protective League is fighting for so many of the reforms in the Chemerinsky report, and why they have joined with the civil rights community and in a very unusual coalition to try to bring those reforms about. And somehow, unless I'm misunderstanding what you're saying, I keep hearing you saying that you shouldn't have reform because reform is somehow against law enforcement, and reform is not against law enforcement. The way I see it.
Well, that's not what I said.
Well, that's the way I interpret
Well,
it.
you interpret it.
And
That's
that's
what
why
I mean. And that's what people can.
Mr. Wax has the floor.
I thought he was asking me a
Well, I
question.
raised it because I welcome your clarifying it when you get a chance to speak. But I
All right,
did
thank
feel
you.
compelled to raise it because I don't see the two as
And I'll be
mutually
compelled to
exclusive at all.
respond.
A terrible thing happened in our city, and people basically want two things. A terrible thing happened at Rampart. And what do people want? They want to make sure it never happens again, on the one hand, and they want to make sure that the police can do their job on the other. And we can and must have both. Those two are not mutually exclusive. In fact, and enable the police to do their job, you've got to root out the wrongdoing and correct it. And I think that the two are very much complementary of each other rather than exclusive of each other. And I felt compelled to bring that up because I did interpret what you said as saying that reform was somehow against the police when I think reform is for the police.
Mr. Ridley Thomas?
Mr. President, members of the council, I think there is sufficient consensus for us to move forward. The point that Mr. Burnson made is precisely what the motion calls for. It asks that the President acknowledge the standing committee and add additional members, so we are in order in that regard. The point that Mr. Holden made very early on about the issue of reform is one that I'm sure he slightly erred in his remarks about reform being a move from that which we have to a move that which we don't know about. I think it's a move to that for which we hope. A better police department, a police department that enjoys a higher level of public trust and confidence, a police department that can remove the stigma of dirty cops from its image so that the entirety of the city can embrace the police department in a way that all of us know should be the case. There is no debate in my mind about the fact that this police department in many respects is far and away superior to many police agencies throughout the nation. That is documented. But it is equally important to recognize that there are fundamental problems, systemic problems that must be addressed, and they are of a policy nature. We are the policy-making entity in the city of Los Angeles, and it seems to me that given the difficulty with reform across the board, no matter what specific aspect of reform we are speaking to, but when we talk about police reform in particular, given the peculiarities of police departments, the kind of inertia that is typical of what goes on, it requires all of us focused on it in a constructive and not in a police bashing way, but a constructively forceful way to say that the residents of this city deserve better, and we all have a responsibility to deal with it accordingly. It is not reform versus catching criminals. And to that end, I want to say to you that I have every reason to do my job to help pursue and then apprehend any suspects in the city of Los Angeles, and I expect to do that before the council meeting is adjourned, and everyone will witness it very shortly. Thank you very kindly.
Mr. Holden?
Mr. President, members, we had reform when we brought in an Inspector General. Everybody said that's going to work well. And then they decided who they wanted to be Inspector General. If we need more reforming, he needs more authority. And then, of course, you have a police commission, civilian. More reform. You have all that. The Christopher Commission report indicated there were 40 troubled police officers, not the whole department, Mr. Wax. And what you're talking about, let's reform the department. Reform the department? You got 10,000 police officers, 40 bad ones that we can identify? Come on. The problem, Mr. President, members, it is not with Mr. Thomas standing. Get in TV, stand right next to me. The fact of the matter is that...
Mr. Holden, we'll make an exception. I will allow you to move previous questions.
No. The fact that we all were unhappy about and disappointed about what happened at Rampart. But I'm going to stand here today and say what should have been said a long time ago. All of the police officers at Rampart didn't commit crime against citizens. All right. So when you're talking about reform the whole department, let's design or define a methodology that can identify bad police officers and also bad council persons.
Well,
I'm telling you, when you have, if you got to have somebody looking over your neck all the time about whether or not you gave a citation and whether it's a valid citation, you're gonna have a problem with that. I am telling you the consequences of the action of this council. It's a buzzword. John. When you say reform, the consequence of your action will be then, it will be then that you're getting less policemen, more crime, and that's what's happening. If you say the Protective League say they want more reform, what they want is flexible working hours. And they're going to keep pushing and pushing until they get that, no matter if it means that they sit on the sidelines and watch the criminals go by. Now, that's carrying a little too far.
Mr. President, I think instead of handcuffs, we need a gag.
Well, wait a minute.
I would like to move.
Wait a minute, it's on my time.
I'd like to move that Mr. Holden and Mr. Ferraro be part of that committee.
Well, Mr. Ferraro, you're losing control of this body, Mr. Ferraro. Whenever I sign good and start reaching the voters of this community, I get this kind of interruption.
How much time do you have left?
I had 40 seconds left, but you let him blast and this guy blast. You see, I gave them all the respect that they're entitled to as they spoke.
Okay, thank you. Mr.
Okay,
Holden.
and when I start speaking, so I'm in the opposition, yes. I'm in the minority, but the minority can make a majority. Well, on the issue like this, when it comes to crime and repressing criminals in the community. The fact of the matter is that somebody's got to stand up for the good police officers. And the department is not bad because a few police officers are doing something wrong.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Holden.
That's the image that you guys are portraying, Mr. Wax. It's a bad image.
Mr. Savornich moves previous question. No objections to that, so the previous question. Okay, what do we have before us?
Mr. Burnson made a motion to request the president to appoint 2 additional members to the Public Safety Committee. I didn't hear a second on that motion.
Well, I think that's part of the original motion, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, prepare the roll on Mr. Burnson's motion.
Well, actually, it's the same thing, Mr. President.
Huh?
It only has to do what the motion calls
It's
for.
essentially the same thing, but however, Mr. Burnson is more clearly laid out here, so I would respectfully request that in light of the fact that your motion is essentially contained in the original that you withdraw.
I told you that the only difference between the motions is you had a better education and you can read.
No, well, You're very kind.
Let's vote on this motion.
All right, thank you.
Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes, 2 noes.
Mr. Burnson's motion.
On Mr. Burnson's motion?
Yeah. Okay, now what else do we have?
No,
Mr. President Thomas?
Same motion, same thing, isn't it?
no,
What's the
it's not the same. Mr. President, if I may, I think people thought they were voting on the motion before us. Mr. Burnson, at the time, as he just indicated, didn't realize that this didn't call for the creation of an entirely new ad hoc committee. This calls for Public Safety Committee plus a couple of appointees being
That was
established.
my motion.
Yes. However, there's an additional, furthermore, that asks for ORS and the Chief Legislative Analyst to.
Yeah, well, we'll...
I'll incorporate that.
We'll vote on the motion as amended.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, prepare the roll on the motion as amended. Huh? Tabulate the vote.
13 ayes, 1 no.
That is
All right. Thank you very kindly.
That is approved.
And Mr. President, my immediate attempt at police reform was thwarted as a result of a lack of effective training.
I just want to... Did you fill out a report?
Yes, I did.
I just want to point out that a lot of times we appoint these ad hoc committees and then they don't show up.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item.
Next item, Mr. President, not on the agenda, is special number 1. It's a motion presented by Councilmember Chick. The city attorney will explain the need to make the findings.
Mrs. Chick, we got to first vote on the findings.
Yes.
Okay. Gail Weingart, Assistant City Attorney, thank you. This is in regard to the Prima project, which is in the final phase, and the go-live date has been delayed due to unforeseen software problems. In order to keep the contractor on the contract and allow him to finish, the council has to make an amendment to increase the fixed total price, and they need to do it immediately so that the contractor stays on.
So let's see if there's anybody who wants to vote. Findings. Tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That is approved. Mrs. Chick?
Yes, colleagues, the good news is that the funds are available to handle this. It's not a fiscal impact on the general fund. So there were funds anticipated to cover such costs. The other good news is that we're working with vendors and contractors who are very much part of a good team effort with the city and who are heavily invested in every way in seeing that this is successful. And I'm confident it will be successful and that the big savings we will then start to see from our new purchasing and supply system. However, this does serve as an example of something that Mr. Padilla, the Council's Chair of Information Technology General Services Committee, that we are working on and looking to Council support on, and that's to use this as a learning experience, one of, unfortunately, many other systems and communication systems and technological projects in recent history in the city where we've seen some serious problems, time delays, cost delays. I don't know, colleagues, if you are aware, but for instance, we have our 911 emergency buildings going up, part of Prop M, that's about 10 years old, I think now. Those buildings are going up in the valley and across the street, and they'll be ready. But the technology, the improvements in the actual 911 communication system and the people that work that system will not be going in those finished buildings for, I think, about 2 years after they're completed. So we have things to learn. We have to change the way we do our technology projects to keep pace with the private sector and this fast-paced world we're in. But this we need to do today. Thank you.
Mrs. Walters?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Off and on, it seems like for too many years I've been asking questions about this Prima program. When was it going to be ready? And we hear, oh, it'll be ready soon. Just wait a little while longer and give them more money. And I have a real problem with increasing this amount, even though the consulting firm is going to pay 2/3 of it. This is $10,840,000 that will have gone into this program, and we don't have an up and running program. So I think we need to hear from staff on what the glitches are, and are they realistically able to establish December 4th of this year as a go-live date.
John Muckery, Department of General Services, and I have with me Bob Jensen, who is Assistant General Manager, also the Prima Project Manager, and we are willing and able to answer any of your questions.
All right, the first thing, if you would address, how many years have you been doing this? Has the department been doing it? And not only that, the question is December 4 a realistic date that it's going to be available to go live?
The Prima project began in 1995 with an initial assessment of the city's supply chain operations.
Yeah, we weren't told it was going to take 5 years. At that point, it was supposed to be a year or two, as I recall.
In phase 2 of the project, we developed a plan for implementation. It was a 3-year plan at that time.
Yeah, in phase 2,
Phase 2.
but not phase 1.
Right. In phase 3, the implementation phase, that's the phase we're currently in. There's different programs, different business improvement projects. The motion before you has to do with one of those business improvement projects, and that has to do with the system implementation. The system implementation has been an 18-month project, which was to end October 1st. Unfortunately, we had a glitch with some of the PeopleSoft software, and we had to perform some regression testing that will add additional time onto the project. We believe we are positioned, though, such that after this regression testing, we will go live about early December, December 4th.
And how much more money is going to be required?
$231,000.
Is this going to be the last money that's asked for this? And be careful how you answer. You may have to give up your firstborn.
Well, yeah, that is, we're hopeful that that's true. In the nature of software, we've conducted already 2,600 tests of the software. We've identified 6 significant problems that we needed to resolve, and we are resolving those problems. PeopleSoft is on site actually helping. Their developers are assisting us in ensuring that this software will be implemented in
December 4.
We are hopeful.
Well, the motion doesn't say you're hopeful. The motion says all are working diligently to test fixes. Oh, yes, it does, in the hopes of meeting a new live date. Well, I hope to do a lot of things that are not feasible, but we'll see.
The special one before us? Was anything else before us, Maria? All right, prepare the roll on special 1. Tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That is approved. Now we have special 2. Mr. Padilla, special 2, we have the findings on that. Gail?
Yes, thank you. The police department has asked for this. This is a reward motion. On Saturday, October 7th, a 9-year-old girl was shot and wounded while sitting inside her home in Pacoima, and the police believe that they need a reward in order to find the perpetrators of this crime.
Okay, prepare the roll on the findings. Tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That is approved. Now we have the matter before us. Mr. Padilla, just...
Thank you, Mr. President. As the city attorney said, this was a tragic incident I think we all read about over the weekend in the newspaper. An innocent 9-year-old girl at home watching television. It was about 10:30 p.m. and a stray bullet from a nearby gang-related shooting found its way through the wall, into the home, through a couch, and into the young girl's back. The good news is she's in serious but stable condition and recovering in the hospital. But the bad news is the police has requested help in the form of this reward so that they can continue to do their investigative work and find the perpetrators and bring them to justice. I ask you for your support and also for the benefit of the public, both here in Chambers and those who may be watching at home. The police department and my office has been meeting, and the police officers will be going door to door in that neighborhood in the course of this particular investigation, but also as part of really trying to rebuild the community and police relationship in that particular area. Thank you.
We have special 2 before us. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
14 eyes.
That is approved. Forthwith on that. Forthwith on the special 1 also. Next item.
This is the time for comments from the public on non-agenda items.
Is there anybody who wants to be heard on public comment? We have no cards. Okay, you're out of order. Prepare the public comment period is closed. Next item.
Before going into closed session, Mr. President, do you wish to clear the desk?
Yes, clear the, we're going to go into executive session, so everyone not involved with the executive session, please leave the council chamber. And let's clear the desk.
You have motions for posting and referral.
If there are no objections, unanimous vote.
Councilman Burnson requests to be excused on Wednesday, October 18th. City business meets council policy.
Unanimous vote.
That clears the desk for closed session.
Okay. Let's clear the, Sergeant, let's clear the room.
John Nate, next called public comment.
Stand. Members of the council, I'd ask that we adjourn in memory of John Northmore, also known as Papa John, past director of the Harbor City Teen Post. He passed away on Saturday, October 7th, due to complications from stroke. He was a bachelor and had no children. John became the father of dozens and dozens of at-risk youth in the community of Harbor City and Long Beach, where he resided. While a director of the Harbor Teen Post, he assisted the youth in their homework as well as being counsel. Might point out that he was the one that had got a job here in the city. Also, I'd ask that we adjourn in memory of Minnesota Representative Bruce Vento, who passed away. He was someone that we worked with closely. We met with him in Washington. We met with him in Grand Canyon. And he died of lung cancer caused by working as a child, as a young man, and before obviously going to Congress. He made it easier for people of ethnic Homic people of Laos to attain citizenship. He had championed legislation to protect the environment, and I'd ask we adjourn in his memory. He leaves his wife and three sons. Mr. Fear.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that we adjourn in memory of David Feingood, a former president of the Jewish Federation Council, a very successful businessman who not only was very active as a philanthropist and community leader in the Jewish community, but was deeply committed to promoting an improved quality of life and social causes for everybody in the city of Los Angeles and beyond. He will be sorely missed. He was a wonderful community leader.
Yeah, I'd like to be on that also.
Call the roll. The council is adjourned.